Slurpty derp. How's it going, my G's? I had a few comments recently. Some people talking about the slurp at the intro of my videos. Some people saying it's disgusting. Some people just, just being haters, which is cool. Some people just saying that it was a sound that I made in Phase Plant. And I just want to address all of you at once in as a sort of response. So the actual reason that I do the slurp is because
the parables of Phase Plant.
So, as we get into today's video, I've got another clickbaity title, and I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but probably something like most legendary old school drum and bass REESE ever created, easily done in 6 steps. And yeah, this is the old school REESE. Let's take a little listen to the loop. What I've done is I've decided, again, not to do any jazzy editing, other than that little bit where it goes, the parables of Phase Plant, which is quite exciting because I like that part. Because I did create that and I edited that, and that took me a level of effort, I suppose. Yeah, so I'm going to reuse that bit, but apart from that, I'm not doing anything else. Yeah, so let's have a little listen to the old school REESE. But I have jazzed up the loop here, so I've got these drums with my snare that I've made from Phase Plant, some other just layers of found samples from random sample packs, and then I've got a little part of the trucker bass, which is the most disgusting video I did quite recently. I think a lot of you guys like that one. I think it's the one before this one, if you don't know. And I just bounced that out, reverb the hell out of it to make it a bit more, a bit larger than life. And then I added this little dark pad stab, which I made in the synth Zebra, believe it or not. So if you don't know what Zebra is, don't worry about it, because we don't need to use it anymore. But yeah, shout out to Zebra. I used to love that synth. Anyway, here's the old school REESE that I've made and we're going to look at today. Oh, it's dark. Anyway, let's listen to the whole loop. So I'm kind of using the sort of evil trucker as the kind of downbeat, and then this old school REESE is the kind of response. It's a little bit similar in texture, but it's actually completely different made sound. Yeah, and it's quite warm and a bit softer, and it's got a nice level of harmonics in there. So let's take a little look. What I started off with was the classic choir. Choirs are great because they're made out of humans, and that's important, humans, because we're humans. So yeah, it's just generally like a good vibes all round, you know what I mean? So anyway, here is the sample. Oh, I'll tell you what, let me play on the keyboard. So this is my sort of method at the moment for creating cool sounds. What I tend to do is start off with a sample, because then I can get that like extra natural texture into the sound, and it's going to make every sound different, Then I'm also using a lot of white noise in all of my patches, but I'm just using a really small amount because it's going to fill out that high end, and you're going to result in like a more full spectrum sound always, just filling out the top part with a bit of white noise. Even if you mix the level down really low, it's going to just make everything pop out more, and especially when you sort of distort everything together, it's all going to blend in. So anyway, you can hear that little level of noise I've added into the choir. And then, what I'm doing after that is I'm doing a lot of FMing this sound already basically through sine waves, because sine waves are the most powerful, like waveform, right? For bass, So for bass, like it's pretty much you need sine waves always, almost always anyway. Sure, we can use squares and saws sometimes, but they start to really take up a lot of your ear capacity in the high end, because they're quite harsh a lot of the time. With a sine wave, it's nice and powerful and low, but you can introduce like the little natural part of the high end by using these samples and the white noise, and then FMing it in, and then finding a nice balance with the phase, right? So I'm going in with my first sine wave here, and so we're FMing the sample, as you can see here, into the phase of the sine wave, but up 17%. And this sine wave's down like a -12, but I've done a bit of detuning on both. So this one and the next one. So the next one, basically I'm FMing from here into the phase of this one. This time I'm taking it to the left because I'll just test it, you know, to the left or to the right and see what has a nicer kind of texture. So anyway, this second one comes in. Really nice and powerful there. Playing with the levels of all three as well to get the best balance. So this sample's quite high, this one's sort of in the middle, this one's a bit higher. Then I've got a third one, and this one I don't think I'm FMing it. I think it's like what I would say is like a reinforcement sub bass. So -24. You know, without it, it just boosts up the low end, tying it all together. No, I was playing it the wrong octave the whole time. But anyway, yeah, you can really hear. You know, it's really helping to smash in a bit of that low end power, which is what we're all after, isn't it? Really. So a little bit of global unison on everything. There's not really any unison on the individual. What do you call them? Sound sources in this patch. But instead, there's just a global unison on all of it. And yeah, mixed in a little bit randomly. Not randomly, using my ears. But what I've done is I've used the freak stack. So introduces some like higher pitched harmonics. So if I turn it up, I almost want to modulate that a little bit. So there's only really one like modulation I've got going on, and it's just an audio follower. So what it's going to do is it's going to just track the movement that I've created within the synth, you know, via the detuning and the FM. That's created this natural life to the sound, and the audio follower is just going to exaggerate that. And I've just used that on a bunch of like effects and things like that. So as an example, you know, I could use it on the blend here. And that actually adds a bit more of a stereo interest, you know, because the blend, it'll like, as when the blend is up, you'll have more of the unison. So you'll be a bit wider and you'll get more of those extra harmonics added in. So if we're sort of playing with the life of that on the audio follower, yeah, it's a bit more expressive in the end. So loving that. And then, yeah, as you can see with the effects, what I've got is I've kind of tracked the audio follower to a lot of them just to move them around a bit, really. So there's a bit on the mix of this convolver, which is really cool. And I love this particular preset, which is the small control room. And it's like when you load it up, it's kind of on, I think it's already comes on Spaces Real. That's like the default or something. But in that folder exactly, there's a small control room, which is a short like convolution reverb, but it works quite nicely on a lot of things for me. It doesn't have like too much high end, it's not too long, and it just sounds quite nice when you blend it with a bass. So yeah, I got it here 20% or so. And like I said, I think my audio follower is on there, or it was anyway. Yeah, so a bit of movement in that. Then the phase distortion just saturates it quite nicely. The filter here is doing a lot. It's a really nice full sound without it, but to create that warmth, I wanted to actually take out a bit of the mid-range. And where we've got some other sounds in the track that can sort of fill out the gap in the mid-range, you know, like the little stab and that kind of first downbeat, you know, this is a bit of a warmer rolling kind of bass. So yeah, I'm not going to have it so full on in the mid-range. So I've taken out a chunk here. On the warm mode, it's just the best sounding one for this particular like combination of oscillators. I always just run through them all because it seems like different strokes for different folks. That's the wrong saying, but it seems like with different oscillator sounds, different filter variations work best on the non-linear filter, and especially when you drive it all up so you can really hear like what it's doing. I really like this warm one, and that's kind of what inspired that warm REESE kind of feeling, you know, when I found that to be the best sort of the best mix. And yeah, that's got the movement on the cutoff from the audio follower again. But where I sort of took out quite a chunk here, I thought I want to just boost up the whole amount a little bit again, like softly. So I've done that on the mid here. Nice and exciting. And then yeah, again, A bit more distortion. This actually does quite a lot. It's the sine mode and on the distortion, and I've sort of played with the bias, which is like changing the position of it. And I found a spot where if I just copy this in case I don't mess it all up, but if I just show you what I would do, so drive it up first so you can hear what it's doing. Then just play with the bias until you find a nice position where it boosts the distortion like in the right sort of area. See there, it's nice and powerful in the low end. And then bringing it back down again, you know. I'm just going to revert to how it was. A little bit of high end push at the end to finish it off. And then that's it. That's the old school Reese. Yeah, not much more to say really. You know, nice little simple MIDI pattern, kind of working with the rest of my elements. And Bob is your uncle. There you go. That's the old school Reese. I'll probably save this one for a preset pack or so. I might give away a free one at 3,000 subscribers. Thanks a lot for all your support. I hope you all have a wicked weekend. Peace out. Much love. Don't do anything I wouldn't. Ciao for now.
Too great.